question. Romeo is an 18-year-old Wimbledon horse, bred by Bartle Queensland. And he's been competing Prix for 4 months, so Chris and Juliet, sorry.
Okay, Juliet. Good one. So, yeah, I heard a little bit about the background from the email that you sent. So, one of the things that immediately my eye is drawn to, and I'm asking you the question, he's very sort of chewy in his mouth there.
Yeah.
Does he always sort of play like that?
Yeah.
It's not just because he's picked up an apple or something outside, and
No.
it's just an indication of a little bit of his tension.
Yes.
Yeah. What I've been saying throughout these training sessions and both on the dressage as well as when I've been working with the eventers is I always talk about the inside rein being the horse's friend, and I'm always talking about lifting the bit into the corner of the mouth. And I'm not saying we necessarily want to do that now, but there are times when I would actually change the rein round in a rider's hand so that they're holding the rein from underneath rather than from on top. So I don't know whether you understand what I'm meaning there. Yeah? You can do it like that, exactly. Yeah? So that what you're doing by doing that is slightly lifting the pressure of the bit off the tongue into the softer part of the mouth. The fact that he has this tendency through tension to be slightly chomping at the bit all the time is you can't physically control that and so on. It's going to come about, if it comes about, the relaxation is going to come about through him not focusing on the bit, but rather thinking forward and positively and so on. Yeah? So in your way of communicating with him, I've been saying to other riders here today, in the work in the Trot, the work in the Canter, I keep coming back to suggesting a 4-step rhythm or a 4-stride rhythm in the Canter, where we go touch 2, 3, 4, touch 2, 3, 4, rather than at him all the time. We want him, in effect, traveling forward because he enjoys it, because you give him that positive feeling through your body language. You say, let's go. Yeah? Yep. So let me first of all see you in action in the Trot to start with. Yeah? And we'll see if we can encourage him to be positive in his step without too much pressure. So if you have to touch him with the leg, touch once and take it off. A little bit of fresh air comes between your leg and his body. You don't want to be at him all the time. If he goes to spook at those fences, slightly raise the bit on the inside. Even if your outside rein has to sometimes say to him, don't turn yet. That's right. Good. And then the other thing here in your body language, you could slightly lean forward, say to him, let's go. Slightly raise the bit on the inside. Good. Your outside rein says, don't turn yet. Slightly lean forward. Your upper body says, let's go. That's right. In cross-country training, sometimes I say to a rider, go into racing position in order to encourage and motivate the horse to go forward. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do that here in your dressage saddle, but you can momentarily with your body have an effect that is positive on encouraging the horse to go forward just by leaning forward slightly for a moment and say, come on, let's go. Yeah, that's it. Up, 2, 3, 4. And then in that 4-step rhythm, you can go touch 2, 3, 4. And between those, each touch, there is then a little bit of fresh air between your leg and his side. And then again, you can touch 2, 3, 4, active 2, 3, 4, touch 2, 3, 4. That's right, that he eventually draws forward a little bit to the contact. He looks to me as I watch him that he slightly draws back at you. Yeah? And you would like a feeling of him drawing forward. So your body language is saying, let's go. And your touch of leg every 4 strides is saying, come on, every 4 strides saying, let's go. That's it, correct. And then offer the rein occasionally when you get a feeling that he will draw forward to that contact. You can't throw the rein at him, but you can, combined with your body language saying, let's go, you can offer your arm slightly. That's it. Good. And then we'll change the rein. Sit to the right, step right. And in this first phase of the work that we're doing together, as well as your body language saying, let's go, and every 4 steps, your leg saying, up, 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4, you can at the same time work on his lateral suppleness by raising the bit on the side where you want a pole flexion. So let's raise the bit on the right side. And as you raise the bit on the right side, your outside rein comes slightly off his neck. That's right, only slightly, to encourage him, there, to draw forward to the contact. Left hand slightly off the neck, and your body language saying, let's go. And sitting on the inside, or doing your rising trot, staying on the inside edge of the saddle. So you're going up and down on the inside edge of the saddle, so your weight is down into the inside stirrup. Now I'm seeing him wanting to draw forward to the contact a little bit more. This is good. And if you get that feeling, allow him to stretch a little bit more to the contact. That's it. All the while that you're working to let him stretch a bit to the contact. Now he's giving me an impression that he's wanting to take you forward, wanting to go forward. This is good. This is good. And again, slightly lean forward and say, let's go as you come across the center line. That's it. Let's go. And your left hand comes slightly off the neck. There. Good. Good. Correct. Good. And then we'll, after this turn here, change the rein again, and we'll see if we can get that sort of sensation in your work on the left rein. He started off on the left rein a little bit what I call a bit shy, a little bit sucking back, a little bit, nervous about his surroundings. So your body language was saying, let's go, and every 4 stride touch of the left leg. That's right, if he gets a bit spooky here, don't have pressure on both sides of the mouth, let the flexion change slightly to the outside. And then, when he's accepted it, then release him into straightness. So we avoid, in that way, pressure on both sides of the mouth at the same time. If he gets a bit tight in the neck, flex him right again. Slightly flexion right. Good, that's enough. And then release into left flexion, and then offer, and then go, and let's go, and let's go. That's right, correct. And then he comes a little bit high again. He came back at you slightly. Then you would immediately think, look down the outside rein, get the slight pole flexion to the outside, and then let him straighten again, until we get this feeling of him drawing forward. And all the time, of course, you have to keep putting yourself to the inside of the saddle. So every 4 steps, sit to the inside, open your hip on the inside, touch with your inside leg at the girth, not too far back. That's it, correct. Good. So there's always a feeling I have of opening the hip to get a bit of fresh air under your thigh. That's what I like to see. So you're not pinched in behind the blocks. Let him breathe, I often say to riders. Let the horse breathe by releasing your hip a little bit there. Good. You can. You would like to walk. That's fine. Take a break for a second, Sorry, I didn't realize that you came back to walk because you needed the break.
No, sorry, I thought you said give him a breather.
I see. No, what I actually meant was let your horse breathe by opening your hip and relax your thigh. But don't worry, stay and walk for a while, let him recover. What I'm really aiming at is that feeling that although you're in contact with the horse, both with your seat and then your leg, that isn't a constant pressure. It's a touch 2, 3, 4. It's relaxed in your hip here, so there's a bit of fresh air under your thigh that you allow the horse to move under you rather than constant pressure. Yeah? So what, by accident, we've come to walk. He's having a stretch. We'll work the canter next. And within the canter, again, this idea of having him a little bit more relaxed in the pole. So sometimes raise the bit on the inside, but sometimes you can, if your position is clear and you're sitting to the inside and your canter position is clearly understood from the horse, then you can get slight counter flexion and play with the pole flexion by flexing him a little bit to the outside and then letting him back. Again, so that eventually his canter, he's drawing forward a little bit. Yeah? He slightly gives me the impression of sucking back at you. Yeah? And then the desire is to have him rounder, and I don't want to get that by pressure. I want to get it by relaxation. Yeah? So prepare yourself then to pick up the canter. You can go into canter from trot, or we can go into canter from walk. But having positioned your hips, let his walk be a little bit more relaxed and forward. That's right. Good. And then you prepare yourself for left canter by sitting on the left-hand edge and start the canter from your inside hip. There. Now loosen your thigh again. Take your thigh off. There. And then touch once with your inside leg. We don't want to be going in a travers. We want him straight. So sit to the inside of the saddle. Sit on the inside edge. And avoid a backward pull with your inside arm. Let his neck be a bit straighter at the base. That's better. We don't want to be travers. We want to be straight. We want to be straight. So let the base of the neck be a bit straighter. Release a bit your inside arm. Keep the contact on the outside. That's it. And then within this canter, this is getting better in terms of the straightness. Allow the pole up, nose forward a little bit. From your seat and leg, more than just by lifting your arm. If you watch me for a moment, you can have a momentary feeling from your here of saying sit up and then release the arm. That's right. One push of the seat. And then release your hips again. And then one push of the seat. And then release your hips again and relax your thigh. That's better. This is nicer. That's what I want to see. Yeah. That's it. One momentary little nudge of your seat and then release your hips. Don't clamp your leg. Don't clamp your thigh on them. He's got to be able to breathe. That's correct. Good. And now we maybe want to collect the canter, not by pressure on the mouth, but just by keeping your position clear. You're sitting to the left, and by becoming a bit stiller with your seat. But still stay relaxed in your thighs. Stay relaxed in your hip. And only touch every 4 strides. Don't touch all the time. Touch and then take your leg away from him. Touch and take your leg away. And when you touch, don't touch in a backward direction. Touch with your left leg closer to the girth. Correct. One touch and then leg off. And one touch and leg off. Good. Keep his body straight. He's going a little bit travers. That says to me perhaps that your outside leg is bringing his quarters in. So keep the base of the neck straight. Have him straight, uphill and fluent. Good. And now ride some bigger strides again. And push 2, 3, 4. And again, loosen your hip, loosen your thigh, a bit of fresh air under your thigh. Yeah. Yeah. Right, good. Good. So after you've gone down the long side here and you've completed the short side, come onto the diagonal line. Yeah. And from that expressive and straight canter, then show me a flying change. Keep the base of the neck straight. Don't shorten his neck on the inside. Get him straight, uphill, and change. Good. And then now you're on the right side of the saddle. You sit on the right-hand edge of the saddle. Keep the base of the neck straight. And again, trying to, by being relaxed in the hip, have him straighter, but a bit more expressive in his canter. Yeah. Touch, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Good. And he draws forward to the contact like that. That's good. That's good. This is nice. And then by becoming a bit stiller in your seat, you in effect say to him, now I want to come to more collection. But not with pressure to the mouth, just by being clear with your body language and your position. That's right, still relaxed in your hip, still touch every 4 strides, sit stiller, a bit more collected by sitting stiller, but a touch every 4 stride, 1 touch only, 1 touch only. That's it, 1 touch, good. And then expand the canter again. And now you use your seat to ride a bigger canter. Yeah. Yeah. Good, correct. Good. So go down to the end of the arena, and we'll come again on the other diagonal line to a flying change from right to left. So through the short side, pole up, nose forward, through the corner, sit to the right, get him straight first of all, uphill, and then change. Correct, good, nice and expressive. Then get sure after the change that he doesn't go quarters in, that your outside leg is hanging at the girth. You only have to bring your outside leg a fraction further back if he starts swinging the quarters out. But otherwise, relax your hip and let your legs hang from your hips. That's it. Correct. Good. Now we could do some shoulder in and then into half pass. And as you ride the preparation in slightly shoulder in, then you can ride half pass in the canter. And first of all, be very clear in sitting to the inside of the saddle, on the inside edge of the saddle. And then when you ride the half pass, step into your inside stirrup, but keep your outside leg not too far back. Allow, so slightly shoulder 4, that's right. And then you sit to the left and you step to the left and sit to the left a bit more obviously. That's right. Good, good. It's not necessary, we'll do that once more. Don't drive with your seat as much. Yeah? Step left, half pass to the left, but staying a bit stiller. Stay a bit stiller. That's it. So allow him to be expressive. That's better. Your outside leg is a fraction too far back. Right, good. Good. Okay. Come this time across the center line to a flying change, and then we'll turn to the right. Sit on the... Okay, go back to that corner, start again. I noticed as you were thinking, okay, now I've got to turn, you started to be too active with your inside rein. Raise your inside hand, but stay passive, stay quiet with it. You prepare your position. You look to the left yourself. You turn with your eye, your body language, correct, and then the change. Good. And then we do the half pass to the right. So number 1, you sit to the inside of the saddle. You prepare your position statement. And then you prepare the horse with a slight pole flexion to the right. And then you start dancing across the arena in your half pass, and you only touch every 4 steps. 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Be careful there that you're getting slightly quarters leading halfway across there. So we always want to allow the forehand to be expressive. Good. Now what you might, actually let's take a break for a second, good transition back to walk. Right, and relax. Just give you a chance to give him a relaxation and for me to ask some questions there. As you progressed here, he's started to relax a little bit in the mind as well as then in his body. Yeah, and this idea I've been putting across to you about make your position statement clear, let your body language do the talking, and your supporting action of the leg, a touch every 4 steps I would talk about is a starting point. You might touch less than every 4, you might touch every 6, but on the other hand there may be another point at which you will touch every 2, but that is very seldom. 4 is a good starting point. Yeah, it gives you a chance then to relax the hips and let the horse perform, as it were, as your dancing partner. Yeah? And that's my imagination of what dressage is all about. It's a dance with you and your horse performing together. Okay? Now, as you went across in your half pass to the right, you ended up a little bit too much outside leg, too far back, which slightly blocked his half pass. And so you didn't get as much of an expression in the step to the right because he ended up very slightly quarters leading. Yeah? And so as you're working the half pass, and now what I was going to challenge you with next, out of interest, is if you were to ride, in effect, a canter zigzag, right? Yep. Coming first from the right rein, you've got to prepare it with a pole flexion, make the turn, then you ride the first part of the half pass, and as you get to, let's say, stride 7, you're going to change the flexion and make the change and then go half pass back to the left. So we do, in effect, well, maybe not. Let's make it 10. In other words, 10 strides to the left, change, and 10 strides to the right, rather than 8. Yeah? Yep. Okay? And each time, position statement, body language, supported by seat and leg, and then finally the hand. Okay? Position yourself for right canter. Don't start yet. Sit more obviously on the right-hand edge. That's right. A little bit shoulder 4 feeling, and then you're ready to take the first canter step from your inside hip. Okay. Touch, 2, 3, 4. Touch, 2, 3. That's it. And then looser thigh, and then looser thigh. That's it. Yeah, I like that flappy feeling of your hip and your thigh there. That's it. Good. Now you can come down the center line. So here, first sit to the right, pole flexion right, sitting on the right-hand edge of the saddle. Come down the center line, and then you go half pass to the right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then looking for that gap. That's it. And sometimes useful to have some obstructions in the way. I appreciate for this particular challenge that I've set you, it's a bit difficult. But let's go down the side, make a circle, and we'll come down from the left. Yeah? So a little bit as per my theme in the cross-country training, look for Doris. In other words, look ahead, look for a point, don't look down at your horse, and then, even though there are jumps in here, you'll still be able to ride your zigzag, yeah, without the jumps getting in your way, as long as you're looking far enough ahead. Pole flexion left, sit to the left, step to the left, yeah, and then dancing across to the left, looking ahead, correct, and then step to the right, sit to the right, relax your hip a bit, and then prepare. Good, correct, good, well done, good. Okay, good. Stay in canter on a circle. We're going to go canter back to walk. Well done. That was a good transition. Good. So what I was looking for, which I saw, was that you came back canter walk from your position and your body language, but not from pressure on the mouth. And you kept his jaw nice and relaxed there. Yeah? That was good. So the second time when you did your zigzag, because you were looking further ahead, yeah, it worked, yeah. And sometimes we get some, in our training, too intense, staring at the horse all the time, yeah. And I keep emphasizing this idea, this concept that I have about dressage in a pure dressage sense, that it's a dance, it's a performance of a couple of people on the dance floor, yeah. It's got to look like that harmony and not like a wrestling match, yeah? And it was very interesting there as you were working the canter. There was a moment I really congratulated because I saw you have a really loose, what I call flappy thigh, as it were. which allows the horse to perform underneath you. Yeah? Okay. Now, even if you then want to come to a more challenging exercise, which is, let's say, working towards Canter pirouettes, yeah, then that has to be done in a similar way, where when I say look up, look forward, and you get to a certain point where you say, right, now I'm going to canter a pirouette, yeah, that has got to be done in a way, as I say, that you're doing a dance with your horse and not from more pressure. Yeah? So the preparation is first in your position, sit to the inside, yeah, and you're working on the acceptance of the pole flexion, and then you get to a certain point where you then start to say, I'm turning through your hips, through your body language, your outside leg stays at the girth, there's no need to hook it further back or poke with the spur. There's only a need to touch every 4 strides if the horse is maybe losing the energy. But what keeps the pirouette more towards eventually a competition pirouette is the clear positioning of your hips and your body language, so you're dancing, 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 coming round. Okay? So let's try it on the left rein first. So what we can do is pick up the left canter, and then without particular point at which I say, right, I want to see a pirouette, yeah, you work first of all towards that collection without pressure, where your body language, because you become stiller with your seat, you're saying, right, we're cantering on the spot. Yeah, and still with the idea, activate every 4 strides. There's no... Yeah. 2, 3, 4, touch, 2, 3. A bit more obviously sitting on the left side. That's right, correct. That's it. Good. And then your preparation, yeah, has got to be, keep your inside leg at the girth, a little bit, touch once with the left leg, touch again, and then take the leg away from him, touch and take it off. That's right, only every 4 strides. That's it. And then when you're ready to start the pirouette, yeah, you've got to keep the step into your left stirrup and touch every 4 strides and touch once with the right leg further forward. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Good. Good. And then right out of that and straight. Good. Yeah. And right out of it and straighten. Let the neck be a bit straighter. That's it. Good. Okay, so the preparation, a bit like in a walk pirouette, the preparation for the canter pirouette is slightly shoulder 4, and then you get to the point where you say, okay, now we're pirouetting, then your outside leg is talking more to the front end than to the hindquarters, yeah? So if you were to come down the center line, yeah, and as you come down the center line, prepare with a slight shoulder 4 feeling, a slight shoulder in feeling, and then when you're somewhere here, then we'll execute the pirouette, then we'll go up the center line again. So here your preparation for yourself is first sit on the inside edge of the saddle, yeah, more obviously on the inside edge, longer left leg, then a slight shoulder 4 position, step to the left, down into the left stirrup, correct, and then you start dancing, look up and turn your body and look up, 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 and then straight. Good. Right, well done. Good. Okay, change of rein, flying change. We'll try the same thing on the right rein. Good. Come down to this end of the arena, so we'll come up the center line from this end, because it gives you a bit more space, and then we can do the same thing to the right. So in the preparation, position statement, you sit to the inside edge of the saddle, you keep the pressure down into your inside stirrup, you prepare him by being slightly shoulder 4, shoulder in feeling, from your hips, from your position, and then you get to the point where you want the pirouette, soft inside arm, active, active, active. Yeah, good. Okay, so we could do that turn right, we'll do that once more. Again, I say to you, don't bring your outside leg too far back. Yeah? Your shoulder in, preparation has prepared the shoulder in, and then when you touch with your outside leg, then touch at the girth to activate the forehand rather than bring the quarters in more. Yeah? Sitting on the right hand edge, and touch, touch, touch. Right, and then straight. Good, good. Okay, let him have a stretch in the canter. Slip the rein, relax your hips, a little bit fresh air under your thigh. Good. You don't have to chase him with your seat, just relax your hips. Let him draw forward. If he doesn't stretch as much as you'd like, look down the outside of his neck for a stride or two, counter flexion for a stride, then let him straighten. Again, until on this circle in the middle, he stretches forward and down a little bit more. There. And now let him stretch. And sitting on the right, keep putting yourself back to the right. Every 4 strides, you sit back to the right. That's it. More obvious than that. Sit on the right-hand edge of the saddle. There, with your right leg underneath your hip, down into your right stirrup. That's it. And straighten the neck. Good. Good. Okay, now you can gradually bring him back up. Somewhere we're going to go canter to walk, but first from a good preparation, so your seat becomes stiller. Okay, you could do that once more. It could be more definite canter walk. Not by pressure on the mouth, but from a definite holding posture of your upper body through your body language. Right, that's what I meant. Good. Let him stretch, pat him. Good. Yep. Good. It's fun to work with him. He's a sensitive horse, yeah? And a little bit nervous in one respect. So we have to wait for him to go, breathe, yeah, and stretch, and then we can start to play with him there. Yeah? And in everything we're doing with him, I keep referring to this idea of touch and release, not holding the pressure on, yeah, until we get, obviously, there's a limit to how long he can go on before he's exhausted and says, I can't do any more. So you've got to play with that while he still has the potential, yeah, but not to put the pressure on right away, holding and kicking and holding and kicking, yeah. Good.